Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some ways that I prepare to go back to homeschool after we've had a long break. So if you enjoy this type of curriculum and other homeschool and lifestyle curriculum, please remember to subscribe and let's get into it. All right, so when I first decided to do this video, I had seen Ashley from Grace and Grit do it, and I had all the ambitions of actually like filming me doing these things. But then I realized my life is just really busy with 6 kids, and filming all that stuff takes a lot of time. It's a lot easier for me to sit down for like 15 to 20 minutes and record something like this than it is for me to have to move the camera all around the house while avoiding kids and everything like that to film everything that I'm doing for you. So I might insert some B-roll of some of these things that I'm talking about. Maybe one day I'll be better about that kind of stuff, but this is what I can do for now, so this is what you're gonna get. So I just have a list of some of the things that I did, and some of them I'm still working on, but I like to try to get a few things done so when we start school again, I'm not so, I can be better focused on homeschool when when I don't have this long list of like, oh, I have all these things I need to get done. So when we're on break, we try to enjoy the break, obviously, but I enjoy the break by going through my checklist and trying to get as much things done as possible. So then when we are doing school, it's much easier for me to focus on just school and not, oh, I need to do this, I need to do this, and trying to go through my list. So that's kind of some of the things that I'm going to share with you today. The first thing is planning. Okay, that's one of the things that I like to do when we're on break in order to come back and kind of hit the ground running, is to plan. And I already explained all this in a planning video that went up and talked about this planner. So I'll link that video down below so that this isn't super repetitive. I am not a super detailed, like this is what we're gonna do exactly planner, but I still like to have kind of an overview or plan or what I need to have for science or things like that so that we're prepared for it, at least a little bit. So doing that really helps me be prepared when we do start school again. And sometimes it takes a little while to sit down and plan and really think things through. And it's not always my favorite thing to do, to really have to nail down a schedule, but it helps a lot once we do start school, because then I'm already aware of what we're doing, where everything is, I have everything we need. So planning is, I guess if this was like tips on how to prepare to go back to school after a long break, like Christmas break or summer break or any other big breaks you might have during the school year, make sure you have some sort of plan of what your schedule is gonna look like. The next thing I did was switch out curriculum. So this isn't always gonna apply, especially mid-school year for everyone, but to go through all your stuff and just kind of see, do we need this still? Do we not need this? And I had my kids, well, did I have them help? I think they helped a little bit. Reorganize some of their homeschool drawers and got rid of some things and a lot of the junk. The bottom 2 drawers are theirs to kind of just put their junk. They're their junk drawers. And then the other 3 drawers usually have their curriculum in them. And so some of them are really good about keeping everything else out of those drawers except their curriculum. Other of my kids pile all the stuff in all the drawers. So it's a process to clean them all out. And already they are dirty again. But we do what we can. I sometimes have them clean them out. If they are in need of a really good deep clean, then I will do it. And sometimes my kids will sit next to me while we do it. So that's one of the things I like to do, and switch out curriculum. Some of my kids needed new curriculum mid-school year. We had worked through our language arts curriculum. One of them's almost done with the math book he's working on, so I put that in his drawer so that he's ready when his other one runs out. I don't have to look for it, or, you know, because some things I just can't always remember on the spot where I put them. So it's easier if I just prepare in advance. Everything's in his drawer. He can just pull it out when he finishes his current math book. And so that's what I did. I just went through and made sure all that stuff was organized. They know where everything is. At least for a few minutes they know. And I at least know all the curriculum is in their drawers. And then I switched out our group work as well. So not everything, we didn't change everything, but like we had a new science unit. We are working on some different scriptures this year because our church changes what we're studying by year. And so we are currently doing the Book of Mormon. Last year we were doing the New Testament. And so in January that all changed. So I had to change out all the stuff we were doing for our scripture study. So there was a few things that I changed on our homeschool cart, so everything was ready. So when I set out our schoolwork, again, I don't have to go searching for it everywhere. That's something that saves me a lot of time during when we're doing actual homeschool, so that I can get other things done during my day, is knowing exactly where everything is. So preparing that over the break is very helpful for me. Another thing that is helpful for me is to kind of go through and clean every room in my house to an extent. It just kind of depends on what is needed at the time. So I didn't get as much cleaned over Christmas as I had wanted to. I still think we did a pretty good job. But there was some things that I wanted to get to, or maybe I just wanted to get to them sooner, but couldn't. My husband and oldest son were out of town the first 2 weeks of December. They were in China. And so and I was sick, and I had a baby that was sick. So we just didn't get a whole lot done that time. And again, I try to give myself grace when he's gone anyways, but I still hope to try to get things done. And I did get some things done, which I'll talk about a few of those things in a minute. But there was a lot of stuff I didn't accomplish till he got back, and then it was Christmas time and we were spending time together. And so it was really the time right after Christmas that I was trying to get through all the cleaning in the house and organizing, because no matter how organized you are, stuff always has to be reorganized, because as you use it, things get messy. You still try to put things back in their spot, and you do, but stuff just starts to get cluttered. It has to be cleaned again. That's part of the process. I know it's a bummer for anyone that's trying to organize stuff and thinking like I can just organize it once and I'm done for the rest of my life. It's false. I'm sorry. It's not true, because stuff just will get messy. Okay. It's one of those things that you have to keep coming back to again. And so a few of these things I just recently did after our first week of homeschool, because again, I just couldn't get to them before. But let me think. So I went through our laundry room and got rid of stuff. I was trying to just really declutter everything that we are not using and send it to the Goodwill and stuff like that. So, or give it to people in my neighborhood if they wanted any of it. And so that was kind of what I did. So I went through our laundry room is very humongous. And so I went through that, and it had some like old pictures and all that kind of stuff. So I organized that space. And I went through my kids' bedrooms and we organized everything, because man, they're so good at making a mess. And just we try to teach them, put it back in its place, and eventually hopefully they'll get it. But they just like to just throw stuff on the floor or in piles and stuff. Part of it was they didn't have the space, because all my kids share rooms basically. So my four oldest, the 2 boys and 2 girls, they share rooms. And then the toddler is by himself. And so their rooms, I mentioned this in another video, I can't remember which one. It might have been the planning video or the quarterly video. I can't remember for sure. But I got them new bookcases so that they can have a little bit more space to organize their books and their library books, because they'll get so many library books every few weeks. And then they'll just be scattered everywhere throughout their room. And so we did that, got all that organized. So I felt good about that. And I reorganized the closet behind me so that I could have space for where like the sensory bins were and all the stuff for my toddler, that everything's in one spot that I can quickly grab if we're doing group work and he's going insane. He always goes insane. So, we need all the things to grab. And so I grab them and I can just quickly put him to doing another task and stuff. So I organized all that so I know exactly where it was. And so I reorganized a few things in this room. Once we got all the bookcases, we were able to move books around and have more space in the closet for some of his stuff so that it was easy for me to grab. So I did all that, and there's still a few other projects. I wanted to clean our downstairs bedroom. My husband uses it as a filming studio, but there was just a few things that had gotten cluttered down there. So I did all that, and, we cleaned it up and everything. It's also a guest bedroom. Has his filming stuff for YouTube, and it has a bed in it for guests to come. So then he puts all of his stuff away when they do come. So I just kind of cleaned all that space up because it hadn't been cleaned since before I had my baby, and she's almost 6 months old. So we did all that, and I still want to clean our storage room. That's something I just wasn't able to get to, so it's still on my list. But my list got whittled down a ton. So that helps me so much, just to kind of touch every space a little bit and make sure I feel good about it. I clean our pantry out and then cleaned a few cupboards that were bothering me. So again, just things that I might not have a whole lot of time to do when we're full-blown homeschool. And it just makes me feel better going back into homeschool, knowing I have all those things done. Okay, another thing is food and snack prep. I am not perfect at this. I'm not I'm not really that good at it. And this happens actually more on a weekly basis, or bi-weekly. Is that the right term for every other week? I don't know. Anyways, then it does just as like over a break and preparing to go to homeschool, because the food wouldn't last the whole like semester and stuff. But it still helps me to know, okay, we're organized. What are we gonna do for breakfast? What are we gonna have for snacks? And then going into the school week, okay, we're all ready for these things. It's not saying that I can't make stuff during the week for snacks or breakfast, because I can. And sometimes that's what happens because it's life. But I feel much better about my life when everything's ready. And then I don't have kids coming up and be like, well, what about this? Or can I have this snack? Or where are the snacks? Or all these things, you know? So we got a whole bunch of groceries and did all that. And so now we're ready, I think. And again, this is gonna look different for everybody, but I think having some sort of good prep system or having meal ideas and things is just helpful once you start homeschool and everything's just kind of chaotic. Sometimes I'll get to lunchtime and I'll be like, you know, we've just been doing school all morning, and I'm like, okay, what do I need to do right now? Do I have dinner plans? And then if it's already planned out, or I already started it in the crock pot, then I don't have to worry about it. And it's just really nice. The next thing that is really helpful for me to do over a break so that I can just really come back to homeschool strong is to finish big projects. Again, this was something there was another big project I wanted to complete that I wasn't able to get done. But one of them I was able to. Our walls, like coming into our entryway and then by our dining room table, have been the same since we moved here. It's been almost 6 years now. And so I wanted to change some of those things, and I had gotten some mixed tiles on Black Friday for really cheap with our recent family photos. And so I changed out this whole wall. I already had the clock, and the Explorer sign is a craft that I had made that I got from a subscription box and stuff that shows where we've been in the world. And so I put that there and then organized our photos around it. And I really like how it looks. Before, it was fine before. I don't know if I have any before. I'm sure you've seen it like in day in the life videos or something like that. But it just didn't quite fit who we were as a family anymore. So I just wanted to change it. And you know, it's always good to have a change. And then our main entryway, this is a fun story of lovely toddlers. And my toddler is so great. He just likes to cause a lot of trouble. So I believe it was last summer before I had my baby, I was walking down our entryway and I look over and I see that the wallpaper is bubbling. And I was like, oh, this isn't good. And then I look around and all of a sudden I can just smell it. It's like as soon as I see the bubbling, I smell water, and I look at the ceiling and you can see all the water spots. And I'm like, what in the heck? I'm like, is our roof leaking? Because we did have really wet spring and summer. You know, winter last year was really wet too. And so I'm like, but the roof isn't right above that. Our second level is right above it. And immediately after that, I was like, I know exactly what it is. And it was our air conditioner. So I don't know if all air conditioners are made this way. I don't do construction, but ours, the drainage pipe, when it's running, you know, it drains, it condenses, and so it has some water. It's not huge amounts of water at a time, but some that comes out of the tube, and it has a drainage pipe that it goes into. Well, for both of them, our downstairs one and our upstairs one, it just kind of sits either on a drainage vent downstairs on the cement, or this one sits in a tube, but you can pull the tube out. And guess who pulled the tube out? The toddler. He had recently at that time learned to open all of our doors, and most of the time he has his shadow. One of my other kids is usually following him around, but for 2 seconds he wasn't. So he opened the door, pulled the tube out, so it's sitting on the plywood for weeks. Again, it's not tons of water, but it's enough that over time, there's all this water damage now on our ceiling and our front entryway, and then it bubbled down the wall. And so anyway, that all has to be taken care of. It's not a huge project, and there's not mold, and the drywall isn't ruined. So it just needs to be painted over with some good primers, and the walls need to be scraped and sanded and repainted. So it's not horrible, but it's still a pretty time-consuming project, and our ceilings are 10 feet on our main floor. And so again, it's gonna require a ladder, and I hate painting ceilings. I've done it before, but I hate it. And so our main wall, when you walk in, had all these pictures, and it was kind of just like, I don't even know what to call it. a mod podge, is that the right word? I don't know, of a bunch of different things. It was kind of like a collage, but nothing cohesive. And I was like, okay, it's time to change this. So I did. I wanted a few like church related things, and then our family photos in the middle. And I really like how it turned out. But so I got that wall painted, and that wall wasn't ruined, but you can tell the paint colors are different, you know, just the paint color is the same, but over time, you know, the sun makes it duller. And so then when you paint it again, it's shinier. And so I was like, okay, where can we stop the paint and you won't notice, but the whole entryway needs to be painted so that it doesn't look all different. So I had to paint that wall anyway. So while my husband was gone, I painted that wall and changed it all out. And I was very excited about it. And they came home, and it was like all a big surprise and stuff like that. So that was really fun. And I was glad to get that done. But the other parts that actually need to be fixed in the entryway still need to be done. But I just don't want to do them because it's a project. So, and I was hoping to get them done over the break. Again, it just didn't happen with us being sick and Christmas and everything that was going on. It just didn't work out for me to get it done. So that's still part of the project that needs to be done. But it makes me feel a lot better when I've like, okay, I've accomplished these huge projects, and a lot of them require a big chunk of time, which is why it's hard to do when we're homeschooling unless I take a few days off or have a whole day Saturday where I'm like not interrupted. So anyway, that is finally done. That was a long story for you, but toddlers, we love them, don't we? And the last thing, I don't know if we're calling these tips or not, but it's sort of a tip, I guess, is I try to remember that I can get some of these things done during the school year. Like while we're doing school, I will still have time to do a few of these things. You know, it might happen during nap time, or maybe if we have a holiday, or maybe on a Saturday, or, you know, maybe we'll take a shorter day and I will try to do stuff, or maybe on a Friday morning, depending how big the project is, I can still get them done. It might not be as fast as I would like to get them done, but I can still get them done. And that helps me coming back from a break to be like, okay, even though I only feel like sometimes I can accomplish things when we're on break and my husband's around to help and I have all this chunk of time and we're not doing homeschool, there's still time to do it even when we are doing school, and to give myself a little bit of grace, a little bit of encouragement that way. And it makes it a little bit easier to come back from a break, you know, because it is over when you haven't been doing school for like a month basically, or a little bit more than a month, at least not as intensive school. It's hard to come back and just think about, oh, what didn't I get done? Or what can we accomplish? Or anything like that. It just is kind of hard, and trying to get back into the groove of everything. So that, you know, just, you can still accomplish some things even with school. It just might take a little bit longer. You might have to plan a little bit better. All right, so that is how I prepare to go back to school after we've been on a break. Hopefully these tips or insights were helpful for you. I'm not really sure what they are. I guess you can call them what you want to, but hopefully this was helpful for you. Let me know what you like to do to prepare to come back from a break. What are some things that you look forward to having a break for? Like, I can get these things done. And then what really helps you when you're like getting ready to start school again, so that you're ready to hit the ground running. And remember to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you next time.